Hello neighbors, and welcome back to the channel. I am Ariana from The Therapist Next Door, and today we have a special guest joining us, my bestie, Emely. Do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure. Hello everyone, my name is Emely Sanchez. I am also a licensed marriage and family therapist, specializing in the treatment of trauma. I do a lot of EMDR, and I work with a lot of sexual abuse survivors, in addition to people who are looking to work on their cultural identity.
A lot of heavy stuff this one does. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to make a video on how we as therapists stay sane in hopes that it will help anybody out there, therapists or not.
Right.
But just to kind of give everybody an idea of what we as therapists practice to help ourselves. And so one of the things that I really wanted to clear up is a term called self-care that gets thrown a lot around right now by wellness people. And I think that sometimes people get confused on what that is. It's actually a huge umbrella, and so many things can fit under it. So you'll see that as we go along in the video, but that's something to kind of look out for so that you understand what self-care is and maybe what self-care isn't. One of the things that is really, really sacred and important to me, and I really truly think helps me stay grounded and stay healthy, is my morning routine. I'll just share with you guys what I do. So every morning, I would say 90 to 95% of the time, because I'm not perfect, I do a short meditation, and then I write down 3 things I'm grateful for, and then I pull an angel card. So I don't know if you guys know, but there's like these decks of cards. They're not necessarily religious or anything like that, but they'll just kind of give you like a message like, oh, like today you're gonna work on like releasing, or you're gonna work on...
You're gonna have to show me those.
Manifesting.
I need to get myself some.
Yeah, for me it's just kind of nice to set an intention for my day or to kind of be mindful.
It's beautiful.
And then I always walk my dog, and then I always have time to make myself breakfast. So I'm very blessed in my schedule that it allows me to do that. I have time in the morning to do that. From a lot of people, they don't. I just recommend anything you can do.
Any
even
little
if it's
thing,
like a 3-minute meditation that you can do before you get out of bed. Anything like that can really help. So for me, morning routine is great. What about you? What's something that really helps you?
Very similar to routines, but I have like, I guess, more of a ritual. I usually end work pretty much around the same time every day, but I completely unplug from screens, and
that's so important.
Anything that is dependent on Wi-Fi, essentially. That's kind of how I think about it. Yeah, so I'll definitely put my phone in another room or just keep it on silent. I won't even turn the TV on.
That's amazing. You're so disciplined.
Look, I'm not perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to fight for it. The reason it just works for me is it actually comes natural. I think like, because I'm listening to my body, I'm kind of just like, I'm a little fatigued from being, in front of a screen all day. So it just feels natural to lay down or sit and just kind of focus on my breathing, mindfulness, right?
Absolutely.
Focus on my breathing, just grounding myself, like, oh, this feels really nice to be here. Go on a mindful walk. I'll bring my dog as well. Or sometimes I go alone, but I just stay away from any screens. And I do that for 30 minutes to an hour, sometimes longer.
Yeah, and I would say just adding in, we're both only doing teletherapy right now for a couple years since COVID. Even if we weren't, there'd still probably be a benefit in doing some sort of ritual to disconnect and ground and come back to yourself. But I think for you, like especially mentioning doing no screens is really important, because you're doing like 6 to 8 clients a day, and that is a lot.
And it's heavy stuff. I just noticed it was naturally happening, because when we were in our offices, right, it's like, okay, I'm leaving the building, I'm in my car. Yeah,
the ritual is getting in your car and driving home.
Right. And doing what you do, in your car, listening to music, whatever. But I needed a boundary. So I was like, this is what it's going to be. And it felt good. Again, sometimes I do have to fight for it and not throw myself on the couch and turn on Netflix and whatnot. I have to fight for it a little bit, but that's 9 times out of 10, I can keep it up.
Yeah. Just speaking to any sort of routine rituals that you can do on an almost everyday basis, I have found most experts that I listen to, that I admire, mentors, they have incorporated that into their lives. Highly recommend you start doing that, even if you can, again, only commit to something really small, like one thing that you're grateful for when you wake up.
100%.
So next on the list is therapy. So I'm pretty sure that this is common knowledge, but therapists need to be in therapy as well. That's something that we do to stay sane and make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. Do you have anything to add in for that one?
I think just normalizing that we are consumers of therapy and wellness as well. And I think also another way to have that boundary of like, okay, this is my me time, and now I get to kind of take care of myself and also hold space for anything I'm carrying and is still weighing on me. So I still go to therapy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's healthy, it's important, especially with the work that we do.
Right. I don't want to wear that stuff all day long.
But you know, most people, whether you're a therapist or not, you probably have somewhat of stress in your life, whether it's due to your job or family, relationships. You know, therapy is a really helpful tool for that. So for me, like, I know I mentioned walks, but like just being outside is really important. I'm really blessed that I now have a balcony that I really love to spend time on, and just there's something about being outside, just whether I'm looking at the birds or the trees or just feeling the fresh air, that really helps me.
Oh my God, now more than ever, right? Because we're in our houses. Like sometimes I'll go outside just to go grab the mail, and it's like, oh my God, this is like feeding my soul right now. So I agree, you need to get out of the house at least once, even if you don't have a dog to walk.
Absolutely.
Right.
So another big thing with self-care, which I think is pretty obvious, is exercise and nutrition. Again, I don't think anyone's perfect, but for me, I do hot yoga usually 2 to 3 times a week. Sometimes I'll incorporate hiking. I do walk every single day. And, you know, for me to just be in tune with my body, movement,
just any movement,
it's really, really important. And likewise, nutrition, right? So making sure that too much time doesn't go by before you eat.
Right. Sometimes that's tricky, and we've talked about
that.
It is,
yeah. Obviously, trying to eat, you know, fresh, whole foods as best you can really does make a difference, I would say, on your mood and the way that your body functions and your immune system, which is all really important. What do you think?
Same thing. Like, I make a conscious effort to start my morning with for me, I like my breakfast to be big in the morning, just to hold me over, but just wholesome. And it really dictates your mood, because sometimes if you eat junk in the morning, or you know, you're just already so tired, it's all like a snowball effect. You know. And
again, I would say, like, to add that radical exception is once in a while I want some hot Cheetos or some fries from McDonald's, and it's not something I'm eating every day, but sometimes it feeds my soul, and it does feel nurturing to give myself something that's really comforting. So it's okay to have exceptions.
100%, right?
You know, not deprive yourself, but generally speaking, that 80 to 90% of the time you want to kind of just try to establish those healthy, I guess, patterns.
Not restricting yourself, but just tuning into what your body needs.
So I know we already talked about our dogs, but for me, my dog is very therapeutic. Just being around him, looking at him. My dog's really silly, so he makes me laugh all day long. Cute. And, you know, just snuggling with him and anything like that. If you don't like animals, this probably wouldn't apply to you, but if you do like animals, see if you could foster or adopt or, you know, pet sit once in a while, or, you know, if you are able to have an animal, I really think it's super enriching.
I agree.
What about you?
I agree. Sometimes in between clients, I'll just hold my dog.
Yeah.
I just love seeing him.
I know.
Like, sometimes he's in the background of my videos. If any of my clients are watching this, they can tell you, you know, but just him being there, I'm so grateful.
Yeah. And I would say another piece to animals, especially having a dog, is being of service, like having something to take care of. You know, it also gives you a purpose. I think it's really beneficial.
I agree.
Next on the list, kind of falls into self-care, would be like things like taking a bath, or even like getting your nails or your hair done.
Oh yeah.
We love skincare. We're skin and makeup
we're
girls.
Glam girls, if you haven't noticed.
Yeah, and for me, that is self-care. For me.
Oh my God, agreed. Right? Yeah. I just got my hair done last week, and it was like,
it looks amazing.
Thank you. I was like, I have needed this. Like, just to sit there and be with myself. And I didn't allow myself to go on the phone.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't even want to look at my phone. But yes, it's so good to, you know, it's nice to look good, but it's more about like the internal part of it.
And as silly as it sounds, kind of going into maybe more of like retail therapy, like you're just looking at a new lipstick, or maybe you are shopping for clothes or shoes. Of course, you know, be mindful of your budget and all of that, but it can be self-care to do nice things for yourself.
Absolutely.
And some people
really struggle.
Shopping. Some people that wouldn't be a self-care for them.
Right.
So if there's pleasurable activities, as long as they're in moderation and they're okay with your budget and your other goals, I think that they can absolutely be considered self-care.
I always say, as long as you're doing it mindfully, right?
Yeah.
Like, not just to escape, but just to do it mindfully. I think that's the difference.
Yeah, I would say along with that, for me, also socializing.
Oh, that's huge, right?
You know, and I know for her and I, one of the things we love to do is getting dolled up and like going to have a nice dinner and just enjoying that ambiance, you know, and that's really great for us. That probably wouldn't be great for everybody.
Right.
But for me, that's important because it's like I'm getting out of my like therapy mode and my work mode.
Right.
And it's just me, like, taking care of myself, like looking good, enjoying a beautiful dinner, enjoying company with friends. So
we just did that this week, and I really needed it. So I agree. Just getting out there and even like the spontaneity of it, like it's Wednesday, let's go have a meal, and changing it up a little bit, you know, because we can all get pretty stuck in our routines, and you don't even realize that you're burning out little by little, and then it's like, oh crap, now I need a 5-week vacation.
Exactly. So balancing that out, I would say go with what's authentic for you. So some people that are more introverted, they don't recharge that way. They recharge by having alone time. And, you know, for me, I would say like I'm a mixture of both. So after a while of being home for too long, I do start to get stir crazy. So it is good for me to go socialize. I generally say friends and family, be mindful that it's authentic and that it's right for you. For some people, being with their family is really stressful.
It's
so
really
that would be
traumatizing.
a whole different recommendation.
Right.
You know, you may want to limit that time, and then you're going to do a lot of self-care after.
Exactly.
For some people, hanging out with their family is super enriching and feels really good. So
I couldn't agree more.
Okay, cool. Reading is another one. I know you read a lot. So what can you say about that in terms of how it helps you stay sane?
Well, even thanks to the pandemic. I've always loved to read, but I do have to admit, throughout like our intern years and like just launching our careers, I wasn't reading as much as I would like. But the thing with reading, it's the hardest to get started, you know?
Yeah.
And so if you struggle with that, like that's why I also have like an Audible account too.
Yeah.
And
mix it up a
little bit. But for me, it's just, there's a dual purpose to it. Like it's that restfulness, and you choose anything that you obviously like are interested to read and enjoy. It doesn't matter what you read. But then there's also, I always have that drive to learn something new.
Absolutely.
And like, oh my God, I'm always thinking about,
there's so much information out there.
And I'm always thinking about like, okay, how can this help my clients?
Yeah, same.
You know, because some of my clients don't have time to read. So like, let me read that for you, and you know, carry the message.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think for a lot of people, whether you're a therapist or not, you want to keep learning, you know, hopefully the learning never stops until you take your last breath. And there's so many beautiful, smart people that have written books from different perspectives.
We have so many amazing thought leaders in our generation. And so,
it's low cost information. And for me, lots of times when I pick up a book, it's right when I needed it. Even if I had put it off for like 3 months, I'm like, God, I really needed to hear this.
I love that you said that. That's so true. Yeah, no, I agree. And like, obviously, the books that we read are probably more like in the
personal development
world.
I
was going to say self-help, but I hate that word. Like personal development, you got it. But obviously, like, you can read anything. I mix it up. Sometimes I read like junk, you know,
or you might listen to like a real true crime podcast
or an autobiography, you know, like whatever it is. It's something that it's a habit that I really nurtured during the pandemic, and I'm not reading as much as I was, but you know, it's okay. I'm working on it.
And let's normalize, because I know for me, with the onset of social media, my attention span has really declined. When I was a kid, I used to read for 30 minutes every day, and I think it's one of the reasons why I was so successful academically. But as you know, now that we have TikTok, which is so addicting, and it's literally like 10 seconds.
I don't go on it that much anymore. I told you.
Just want to normalize that it can be intimidating, and you might find yourself rereading the same page 3 times, but
that's okay.
Keep at it.
Maybe that's all you can do that day. You know?
Yeah.
And if my clients end up watching this, they will know I pester them to read too. And also with my niche, you know, I'm a trauma specialist, so trauma is one of those things that you have to be up to date with. And I always tell clients, you know, that cliche saying, knowledge is power. A lot of trauma healing involves a lot of gaining a lot of knowledge, understanding what's happening with you. And so that's why I realized once I stepped into this niche, I'm like, I gotta read. I gotta find out.
Like right now I'm reading The Body Keeps the Score very slowly.
Yeah, it took me a long time to read that.
And a lot of it are things I already knew, but I needed to refresh myself.
100%. It's so funny because they'll come to my house and be like, aren't you tired of, you do this for a living? I'm like, I'm not, because it's so crazy. You will read the same thing again and again, but I'm not, I need to remind myself of that.
It's true. It's true. Right. It's a repetition. One more for me is traveling. Like that's my personal favorite.
That's our favorite.
And I have so many reasons why I feel like I'm more mindful, like the novelty of seeing a new place. Like I'm so grateful. I'm so present. Obviously you're more relaxed. You're not working.
Yeah.
Think about what's pleasurable for you,
your senses,
and make it happen. So a lot of times people are like, well, how do you travel? And it's like, I just booked the trip. I took the time to research, and it's not like I'm taking extravagant trips yet, but make it happen for yourself. If you know, have a passion for dancing, schedule that dance class.
I love that.
Feed
your senses, you know, especially again with my specialty. A lot of my clients are disembodied. A lot of them don't even know, they're disassociated. So I think like self-care is really boils down to feeding your senses.
Yeah, that's kind of what the author in the book I'm reading was talking about, where a lot of old trauma processing is going back and you're trying to desensitize, but how important it is to help people live their lives fully
presently
now and be able to enjoy like cooking with their child, a meal or whatever it is.
Oh, okay, last one. Cooking is,
yeah, she loves to cook.
That's like top 3 for me.
Yeah,
like cooking is, I'm obsessed.
We could like this list could go on because it's really based on what you like. Like some people love plants and they freaking geek out on plants.
God, I know. I love that.
And it's amazing, you know, or it's art or whatever it is. But self-care, don't get too confused or lost on that topic.
Don't overthink it.
Anything that feels good, but as long as it's mindful, it doesn't hurt anybody, it doesn't hurt yourself. Right? Would you say?
Yes. Okay. Yes, exactly. Sometimes people are like, it's self-care, but you're kind of acting out, you know? It's like, I don't know about that, but
So what would be an example of that when somebody maybe misuses that term?
Okay, so for example, like, I needed to like let loose, so I went to the bar and I had like 10 shots of tequila. And it's like, look,
that is not self-care.
That's not self-care, that's self-destruction. Or, you know, I have 25 cents in my bank account and I went to Bloomingdale's and, you know, opened up a credit card.
Self-care, retail therapy, So those are really good examples. Thank you for bringing
extreme examples, but you know.
So hopefully we gave you guys some good ideas or tips of, you know, what you can do yourself to stay sane in this crazy world and just thrive and be the best version of yourself that you can be. We will see you guys soon. Let us know what you think in the comments and I will see you guys soon. Authentically yours, Ariana.